Ugh, I'm so tired of working on all this stupid college English homework.
I know, seriously, Hamlet is so boring.
At least we don't have to write any more of those significant whatever essays.
Yeah. So what do you want to do if we're not going to study for the Hamlet test?
Let's find something on Netflix.
How about El Internado?
No, as much as me encanta, Marcos, I'm too tired to try and understand Spanish right now.
Okay, fine. Let's find something else then.
Oh, what about this?
A Midsummer Night's Dream. Isn't that another Shakespeare play? What does the summary say?
It says, since there were no birth records, William Shakespeare was believed to be born on April 23rd, 1564 in Stratford-upon-Avon in England. But church records show that he was baptized 3 days later on April 26th, 1564. Shakespeare grew up roughly 100 miles west of London and was the third of 6 children. At age 6 or 7, it is presumed that Shakespeare began school at the Stratford Grammar School, which was later named King's New School after King Edward VI. In school, William Shakespeare was educated in Greek mythology, Roman comedy, ancient history, rhetoric, grammar, Latin, and possibly Greek.
Shakespeare did not attend university, unlike his fellow playwright Christopher Marlowe, because his father was struggling financially. In 1582, at age 18, William Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway, who was 26 at the time and 3 months pregnant. In 1583, their first child, Susanna, was born, and twins Hamnet and Judith arrived 2 years later. There is little known about Shakespeare from his lost years, which took place during the time periods of 1578 through 1582 and 1585 through 1592.
The first period of his lost years took place when he left school up until his marriage to Anne Hathaway. And during his second period of lost years, it is believed that he was perfecting his acting skills and creating plots for his plays. For most of his acting career, Shakespeare was part of the King's Men, which was formerly known as the Lord Chamberlain's Men. They were considered to be the premier acting company in England during this time period and spent most of their time performing in the Blackfriar and Globe theaters.
During his life, Shakespeare wrote a total of 38 plays, 15 of which were published by the year 1597. His early plays were mostly written with elaborate metaphors and rhetorical phrases. These lines did not always line up with the plot of the plays or the characters, but Shakespeare managed to make everything flow. Shakespeare died on his birthday, April 23rd, in 1616, after a period of declining health. He left most of his will to his daughters, his sister, the theater, friends, and the poor of Stratford-upon-Avon. When he died, he had written a total of 38 plays, 154 sonnets, and 2 narrative poems.
Wow, that's a lot. What does it say about the play itself?
It says, A Midsummer Night's Dream was written from 1595 through 96, when Shakespeare was about 31 years old, during the middle to late years of his writing. It was published in a quarto edition of Shakespeare's original manuscript. There were some inconsistencies from the published version and the original manuscript.
There was a second version of the play published in Shakespeare's first folio in 1623. The first folio was originally titled Mr. William Shakespeare's Comedies, Histories, and Tragedies, and included 36 of Shakespeare's plays, including A Midsummer Night's Dream. The text of the plays in the first folio were largely more accurate copies of his manuscripts than the quarto editions.
An interesting note about the publication and performance of Shakespeare's plays is that once the playwright sold a manuscript to the theater company, they no longer had any rights to the play. Many scholars have said that A Midsummer Night's Dream was written to be performed at the wedding of a high-class aristocrat. A Midsummer Night's Dream uses a multiple plot format similar to The Taming of the Shrew.
The play includes 4 plots. First, the Duke Theseus of Athens and his impending marriage to Hippolea, an Amazonian warrior. Second, the complicated relationships between Hermia, Lysander, Helena, and Demetrius, who are in the forest to escape Athenian law. Third, the quarrel between King Oberon and Queen Titania of the fairies that leads King Oberon to make Queen Titania fall in love with an artisan with a donkey's head. And finally, the artisans who are in the forest to prepare a play for the marriage of Theseus and Hippolea. The multiple plots all deal with the complicated nature of love and provide a varied look at the different forms and circumstances regarding love.
Shakespeare used elements from many sources to write A Midsummer Night's Dream, most importantly being Ovid's Metamorphoses. The Latin poem contains the story of Pyramus and Thisbe, which is the same story the artisans in the woods are crafting a play of. Chaucer's The Canterbury Tales provided the format for the play, as it tells the story of Duke Theseus' marriage to an Amazonian woman. In the same story, Theseus holds captive two prisoners who escape into the woods and fall in love with the same girl, creating a love triangle situation similar to what we see in A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Prior to Lysander, Hermia, Demetrius, and Helena's escape into the forest, Lysander and Hermia are in love, but Hermia's father wants her to marry Demetrius. Hermia must choose between marrying Demetrius, becoming a nun, or death, so she escapes into the forest with Lysander. Meanwhile, Helena loves Demetrius, and Demetrius used to love her, but now he loves Hermia, so he follows her and Lysander into the forest. Of course, Helena follows Demetrius in after them.
King Oberon of the Fairies and Robin Goodfellow, his servant, also known as Puck, are in the forest in a quarrel with Queen Titania. When they see Demetrius tell Helena that he doesn't love her anymore, they try to do something nice by putting a love potion in his eyes to make him love Helena again. However, they mess up epically and accidentally put the potion in Lysander's eyes, so now Lysander loves Helena, Helena loves Demetrius, Demetrius loves Hermia, and Hermia loves Lysander.
King Oberon feels bad for Robin's mistake, so he puts a love potion in Demetrius' eyes to make him love Helena again. Helena, who is now loved by both Lysander and Demetrius, think that they're making fun of her, and poor Hermia is left out.
Wow, that's confusing. As much as I'd rather watch Ellen Tornado, let's watch it.
All right.
Unkind Demetrius, be not so, for you love Hermia, this you know I know. And here with all good will, with all my heart, in Hermia's love I yield you up my part, and yours of Helena to me bequeath, whom I do love and will do till my death. Never did mockers waste more idle breath.
Lysander, keep thy Hermia, I will none. If e'er I loved her, all that love is gone. My heart to her be guest-wise sojourned, and now to Helen it home returned, there to remain.
Helen, it is not so.
Disparage not the faith thou dost not know, lest to thy peril thou abide it dear. Look, where thy love comes, yonder is thy dear. Thou art by mine eye, Lysander, found, mine ear I thank it brought me to thy sound, but why unkindly didst thou leave me?
Why should he stay, whom love doth press to go?
What love could press Lysander from my side?
Lysander's love that thee would not let him bide, fair Helena, who more engilds the night, than all you fury oes and eyes of light, why seekest thou me? Could not this make thee know? The hate I bear thee made me leave thee so?
You speak not as you think, it cannot be.
Lo, she is one of this confederacy. Now I perceive they have conjoined all three, to fashion this false sport in spite of me. Injurious Hermia, most ungrateful maid, have you conspired, have you with these contrived to bait me with this foul derision?
I'm amazed at your passionate words. I scorn you not, it seems that you scorn me.
Have you not set Lysander as in scorn to follow me and praise my eyes and face, and made your other love Demetrius, who even but did spurn me with his foot to call me goddess, nymph, divine, and rare, precious, celestial? Wherefore speaks he this to her he hates, and wherefore doth Lysander deny your love so rich within his soul?
I understand not what you mean by this. I say I love thee more than he can do.
If thou say so, withdraw and prove it too.
Quick, come! Lysander, whereto tends all this?
Hang off, thou cat, thou burr, vile thing, let loose, or I will shake thee from me like a serpent.
Oh, me? You juggler, you canker blossom, you thief of love! What, have you come by night and stolen my love's heart from him?
Fie, my faith, have you no modesty, no maiden shame, no touch of bashfulness? What will you tear? Impatient answers from my gentle tongue? Fie, fie, you counterfeit, you puppet, you!
Puppet? Why so? Aye, that way goes the game. Now I perceive that she hath made compare between our statures. She hath urged her height, and with her personage, her tall personage, her height forsooth she hath prevailed with him. Are you so grown, so high in his esteem because I am so dwarfish and so low? How low am I, thou painted maypole, speak? How low am I? Am I yet so low, but that my nails cannot reach unto thine eyes?
I pray you, though you mock me, gentlemen, let her not hurt me. I was never cursed. I have no gift at all in shrewishness. I am a right maid for my cowardice. Let her not strike me. You perhaps may think because she is something lower than myself that I can match her.
Lower? Hark again!
Good Hermia, do not be so bitter with me. I evermore did love you, Hermia, and to Athens will bear my folly back, and follow you no further. Let me go. You see how simple and how fond I am.
Get you gone. Who is it that hinders you?
A foolish heart that I leave here behind.
Oh, what, with Lysander?
With Demetrius. Be not afraid, she shall not harm thee, Helena.
No, sir, she shall not, though you take her part.
Oh, when she's angry, she is keen and shrewd. She was a vixen when she went to school, and though she be but little, she is fierce.
Little again, nothing but low and little. Why will you suffer her to flout me this? Let me come to her.
Get you gone, you dwarf, you minimus hindering, not grass maid, you bead, you acorn.
You are too officious in her behalf that scorns your services. Let her alone, speak not of Helena. Take not her part, for if thou dost intend never so little show of love to her, thou shalt buy it.
Now she holds me not, now follow thou if thou darest to try who's right. Of thine or mine is most in Helena.
Follow? Nay, I'll go with thee, cheek by jowl. You mistress, all this coil is long of you. Nay, go not back.
I will not trust you. I nor longer stay in your cursed company. Your hands than mine are quicker for fray. My legs are longer, though, to run away.
I am amazed and know not what to say. Well, that was confusing. But I want to know what happens next. What does it say?
After the quarrel in the woods, Oberon and Robin Goodfellow put the forest into a deep fog, so the four will wander around and exhaust themselves until they fall asleep. While they sleep, King Oberon cures Lysander's love potion. Things go back to normal, and Lysander and Hermia are in love again. Demetrius is still under the love potion, so he loves Helena again, and she loves him.
When they wake up, they think it was all a strange dream. The wedding of Duke Theseus and Hippolchia becomes a triple marriage ceremony with Lysander and Hermia, and Demetrius and Helena. This scene is important to the play because it is an example of a theme of the play, the difficulty of love. In the very first scene of the play, Lysander says, "The course of true love never did run smooth." And we see that this is true firsthand during the scene as the audience witnesses the confusion of the four lovers after some of them have been afflicted by love potions. This scene is thought of to be the climax of A Midsummer Night's Dream. The action is constant and the characters are at their craziest. Hermia becomes fierce to Helena as a result of her own physical insecurities, and many more other crazy events happen. Act 3, Scene 2 is the most confusing part of the play, and matters eventually untangle and resolve themselves over the next 2 acts. Still not any less confused, though it was kind of funny at times. Yeah. Let's look at these reviews.
Oh, look what this one person wrote. In his review of the text of A Midsummer Night's Dream, Harold Bloom wrote, "Nothing by Shakespeare before A Midsummer Night's Dream is its equal, and in some respect nothing by him afterward surpasses it. It is his first undoubted masterwork without flaw, and one of his dozen or so plays of overwhelming originality and power."
He also says that Shakespeare uniquely took pains to work out a fairly elaborate and outrageous plot for A Midsummer Night's Dream. Inventing plot was not a Shakespearean gift. It was the one dramatic talent that nature had denied him. I think he prided himself on creating and intertwining the 4 different worlds of character in the dream. I mean, the guy's right. A Midsummer Night's Dream is definitely original.
I don't think it's perfect like he says, though. Maybe if it was a little less confusing, yeah. I could call it perfect.
Yeah, I mean, he did say that plot was not Shakespeare's strong suit, and while this plot is definitely interesting, it was really confusing.
Yeah. So are you ready to go back to Hamlet?
Ugh!